It's really hot. We came out to the tent today and lots of progress. But it is so hot outside, and we definitely don't have any fans or AC going on out here yet. So we're laying out on the deck under the shade, hoping to get some relief.
Instead of standing out there in the hot sun.
Ugh. But things are looking great. The tents are really coming along. The utility tent is ginormous, so it's kind of ridiculous. So I actually think I have a second guest quarters in the making, which is super exciting because that means I get to have more of you come visit. There you go, update from Tent City.
So today what I want to talk about is things that I believe that I don't think everyone believes, but they're things that I know that I'm right about and they're not right about. So something I think that everybody believes is that there's a difference between people who are spontaneous and there's people who are planners. I don't think those things are opposites. In fact, I think that if you're a planner, it gives you the opportunity to be spontaneous later on. So let me give you an example. So I pack out this 96 conversion van with just about everything I think I may need in case, I don't have a place to stay for a hotel, in case the world ends while I'm gone. Basically, I just got to make sure that I always have something to eat. I got, batteries, I got propane, I've got sterno, so I got all these different ways to make fire, make food, and so on, etc. Well, I did pack a lighter, but the first morning when I was at Oshkosh, I couldn't find the lighter, and so I was afraid that I was going to have to drink my eggs raw, like Rocky style, and I didn't really feel like having salmonella when all that was available to me was Porta Johns. So anyhow, I dug a little deeper because I remembered that I always carry one of these. And this is a fire starter. So it's not quite as handy as a lighter where you got the nice little handle and the tube and you can reach down there and light it wherever you want. But if you turn a propane tank on, you can take this little guy here and you can go like that, and it will actually make sparks that will light your propane. So because I had two different things, it actually allowed me to be more spontaneous and have more options. So I'll give you another example. Whenever I travel anywhere, I carry a lot of leather, and I'll show you some other examples. But part of the leather I carry is just scrap leather because leather has amazing thermal properties. So I buy this new cast iron griddle to use to make my eggs. You'll see a recurring theme here, this whole preparedness based around the egg. Anyhow, so I get this griddle and I get it real hot and I make my eggs, and best cooked with bacon grease. And then after I make my toast, and then I want to take that off and I want to start making my water for my coffee. Well, I just kind of touched the thing lightly just to see how hot it was, and it was ridiculously hot. So again, being prepared, I pull out my big knife and I take my scrap of leather that's in the back, this big piece like this, and I cut off this shape, which was specially designed. Now you can tell there's a lack of finesse because Dave didn't design this. I just had to make it myself on the fly. But basically I made myself a portable Saddleback pot holder. So by wrapping it up like this, I was able to grab the griddle and safely put it on the ground until I cooled it off. So anyhow, the point is, this whole thing is about things that I'm completely sure that I'm right about that I think everybody else has got wrong. And so what I want to encourage you to do is think about the fact that being prepared gives you so many more options so that you can actually be relaxed when you're on vacation. When you know that you've got some cash in your wallet and you've got a credit card, then no matter what happens, you always have a way to pay for something. Don't fall for the trap that you have to either be spontaneous or you have to be a planner. Let them work together like yin and yang, and you will always be able to eat your eggs.
I was just out there pulling some weeds in the garden, and we lived in kind of inner city Minneapolis, so there's some sketchy people and things that happen sometimes. The next thing I knew, this guy came out of the Jeep and started walking towards the gate of our front yard. And he's like, "My name's Devon." I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm Tim." And he told me that he had dreads down like past his waist, and then, was kind of talking about that. And he's like, "Of course, that was all back when I, hung out and traveled with Bob." And I was like, it became pretty clear pretty soon that he was actually talking about Bob Marley. Next thing he asks is, do you have any guava jam? And so I was like, "Yeah, actually I do." And it's like, "Do you want it on toast or anything?" He's like, "No, Mom, just a spoon." Anyway, so he ended up in a small town in Minnesota teaching percussion, and he noticed I had this wooden African drum, and I told him that the goat skin head had been broken, and he offered to reskin it. And then I didn't hear from him for a very long time, and to this day, still have never gotten my drum back from him. So that's more or less the story of how I met Devon Evans, the percussionist from Bob Marley and the Wailers, and how gained a friend but lost a drum.